Welcome back, everybody. I'm now joined by guest and NBA analyst Diego Contreras. Diego, how you doing today?
I'm good, Harry. How are you?
I'm doing great. You know, let's start off in the Eastern Conference. A couple surprises: the Bulls 1-3, Pacers 5-0. What's your biggest surprise, in the first week of the NBA season?
I think honestly the biggest takeaway from that is that the Indiana Pacers are the only undefeated team left in basketball.
Yeah.
It's really early on in the season. We only have one undefeated team left. The Bulls they had a couple rough matchups to start the season. Had to go to Miami to start opening night. Had to face the Knicks. Had to face the Pacers in Indiana. So it's really not too surprising that a team that has to readjust with Derrick Rose coming back, losing Nate Robinson, that they would be 1-3 at this point. It's kind of expected. But really, the Indiana Pacers are that team that everyone's kind of wondering. They've been knocking on the door in the Eastern Conference for a little bit. And starting out 5-0, is this their year where maybe they break through that door and they make it to the finals?
Yeah, do you think Paul George is, a top 10 player in this league?
I think he is. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the league.
So do I.
Without a doubt. He can do just as much offensively as the juggernauts and the Melos and the Kobes, LeBrons.
And his defense is great. When that ESPN ranking came out and he was outside the top 10, I was a little surprised.
Very shocked.
The great postseason he had coming into this year, he's definitely proved that he's one of the best in the game.
Yeah, he definitely has.
Yeah, well, a scoring feast out west lately, the Clippers, the Rockets, the Warriors. What team would you take on any given night to get you 120 points? And which team do you think, has the best chance at a Western Conference title?
Neither one of those three teams are a bad bet, definitely. But I think you have to go with those guys up in Golden State. The Splash Brothers of Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry. I mean, any given night, those guys can each go off for 6 to 7 threes by themselves. They move the ball so well with Andrew Lee and David Bogut.
Right.
David Lee and Andrew Bogut.
And, the acquisition of Andre Iguodala. I mean, lately Steph Curry's been throwing alley-oops to him. He's getting out in transition, doing exactly what he did in Denver.
Definitely.
Is he a guy that, can maybe guard Russell Westbrook or really push them to that next level?
He is. He's definitely that player that can guard your two guards. He can guard your big forwards. He can kind of change things schematically, defensively for the Warriors. That's really going to help them break through in the Western Conference, I think.
Right, and I think you mentioned it. They have, I think, more scorers than anybody, really.
Harrison Barnes is growing up still.
On any given night, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Iggy.
Draymond Green can step up.
It's crazy how many guys they have. They're so much fun to watch. I'm going to agree with you on that. And finally, staying in the West, Russell Westbrook made his return, I think the third game of the season. Seemed like out of nowhere. I mean, I didn't know he was coming back until, I saw the highlights. Him and Kevin Durant, they lost Kevin Martin. I feel like the Thunder aren't really getting any better. Where do they go? Where can they go?
I still think the Thunder kind of have to be shaking their heads at that James Harden move they made a few years ago. I think it's maybe coming back to haunt them at this point because, like you said, they haven't gotten any better.
Right.
They've kind of stayed stagnant a little bit in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
Haven't made any big moves. I mean, they have a couple of young players that could be growing and develop a little bit with Perry Jones III.
Okay.
And some of these younger kids, but I think the Thunder are kind of in a bad situation here in the Western Conference.
And Kevin Durant and Russell, obviously a dynamic duo. But I don't know if they can. I don't know if that will bring them to the finals. We saw them go at it a little bit, with Russell not passing the ball last year, and then him going down, and everybody said it was KD's team, and then they lost, and now where do you go? But I think you mentioned it: the loss of James Harden, the loss of Jeff Green, now the loss of Kevin Martin. Honestly, I don't know what the management is doing. They must think that Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook are going to carry them for 5-6 years.
And they have to remember that Oklahoma City is not one of those markets that keeps their players.
Right. We've already heard Kevin Durant could be going to Houston or somewhere in 2016, I think it is.
Or a guy like Russell Westbrook. The Lakers are opening up lots of cap space for the next couple of seasons, and he's a UCLA product. Some of these kids could be going out.
You never know. This summer, a free agency is going to be crazy. LeBron is one of them who's going to be free agent. I think he's going back to Cleveland. What do you think?
I think it's so early to speculate, but it could happen. They've built such a great team that could potentially work with LeBron.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to play with guys like Kyrie Irving?
Andrew Bynum, #1 draft pick Anthony Bennett.
And Varejao and Dion Waiters.
Even Jarrett Jack's up there right now.
Yeah, I mean, Dwayne Wade's getting older. Chris Bosh, I don't think anybody likes Chris Bosh in this league. And guys, who else? Ray Allen's getting older. He's going to be done. Chris Anderson, I don't know. I think Cleveland You know, the only thing would be, well, you go back to the team that, you know, you basically left in the dirt. You know, how do you make sense of that?
But the sports world is such a world of short-term memory. If he goes to Cleveland and wins a title,
exactly. They'll
forget fast.
He could win 3, 4, you know, rings with the team with Kyrie Irving and things like that. Well, thanks for coming on the show. You know, I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Harry.
Coming up next is our favorite segment, the fastest 5 minutes. Stay with us. It's The Hook.